Are cabbage worms eating your hard work? Try this simple $1 spray and see how effectively it works.
If cabbage worms are attacking your garden, the next few minutes could save your entire harvest. These small green caterpillars can strip leaves, contaminate heads, and ruin weeks of growing effort before most gardeners even realize they're there. The surprising part is that many people unknowingly make one mistake that allows the infestation to keep getting worse no matter how often they spray. But there's a simple low-cost solution that experienced gardeners have used for years. Before you buy another product or lose more plants, watch closely, because the timing, method, and science behind this approach make all the difference. Before we get into the solution, I'm curious about something. Have cabbage worms ever ruin a crop in your garden? Tell me what they attack most often. Cabbage, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, or something else. Your answer may help other gardeners dealing with the same problem. One reason these pests catch so many gardeners by surprise is that the damage you see today often started days earlier. Those small holes scattered across a few leaves may not look serious at first. In fact, many gardeners assume the plant will simply grow out of the damage. Unfortunately, that's often when the real trouble begins. Cabbage worms are the larval stage of butterflies and moths that specialize in brassica crops. The adults can quietly lay eggs on leaves without attracting much attention. Once the eggs hatch, the young caterpillars begin feeding almost immediately. At first, the damage is easy to miss. The worms are tiny, well-camouflaged, and often stay hidden on the undersides of leaves. What makes them especially destructive is that their appetite increases as they grow. A caterpillar that seems insignificant today can consume far more plant tissue a few days later. That's why gardeners are often shocked when healthy-looking plants suddenly appear riddled with holes seemingly overnight. Many people respond by reaching for the first spray they find. But here's where a common mistake can make matters worse. If you don't understand where these pests spend most of their time and how they avoid detection, even repeated treatments may miss the majority of the infestation. And the place where cabbage worms hide most often is probably not where many gardeners are looking. Understanding that behavior is the first step toward getting control of the problem before it spreads to the entire bed. If you ever inspected the tops of your plants and thought everything looked fine, only to discover severe damage later, you're not alone. One of the reasons cabbage worms are so successful is that they spend much of their time where gardeners rarely look carefully enough. Turn over a damaged leaf, and you may find tiny eggs, small green caterpillars, or fresh feeding scars that were completely hidden from view. University extension specialists frequently recommend inspecting the undersides of leaves because that's where infestations often begin. Catching the problem early can dramatically reduce the amount of damage that follows. There's another important detail many gardeners don't realize. Not every hole in a leaf means the same thing. Slugs, flea beetles, and cabbage worms can all leave damage behind, but cabbage worms typically create irregular holes that gradually become larger as the caterpillars grow. Their dark green droppings are often another clue. In many cases, the droppings are easier to spot than the worms themselves. This matters because effective control starts with accurate identification. Treating the wrong pest wastes time and allows the real culprit to continue feeding. Experienced gardeners often spend a few minutes inspecting plants before taking action, and that simple habit can prevent weeks of frustration later. Now here's where things get interesting. Once gardeners confirm cabbage worms are present, many assume they need expensive products or harsh pesticides to stop them. But research and real-world garden experience suggests that isn't always necessary. In fact, one of the most effective approaches starts with a surprisingly simple principle that targets the worms directly while keeping the process affordable and practical for home gardens. And before using any spray, there's one scientific reason it works that every gardener should understand, because that knowledge can mean the difference between success and damaged plants. That scientific detail is surprisingly important because it explains why some gardeners get good results while others see little improvement. Unlike products that need to be absorbed by the plant, a simple soap and water spray works primarily as a contact treatment. When the solution reaches soft-bodied insects or young caterpillars directly, it can disrupt the protective outer layer that helps them retain moisture. Without that protection, the pests can quickly become dehydrated. The key phrase here is direct contact. If the spray doesn't reach the worm, it usually won't solve the problem. This is why timing and application matter so much. Spraying leaves randomly and hoping for the best often leads to disappointment. Experienced gardeners focus on finding the caterpillars first, especially on the undersides of leaves where they tend to hide. Once the worms are located, the spray can be applied directly to the affected areas. What's interesting is that many gardeners spend far more money than necessary because they assume a stronger product must automatically be more effective. Yet in small home gardens, regular inspection and targeted treatment often outperform occasional heavy spraying. The goal isn't to drench the entire garden. The goal is to interrupt the pest before the population explodes. There's also a practical advantage. Most gardeners already have the ingredients needed for this approach, making it one of the least expensive options available. But that doesn't mean more is better. In fact, using too much soap is one of the biggest mistakes gardeners make, and it can create a completely different problem on brassica crops. So before you mix anything, it's important to understand the correct method, the safe concentration, and the application steps that help protect the plant while targeting the worms effectively. The method itself is simple, but a few small details make a big difference. For most home gardens, gardeners commonly use a mild liquid soap mixed with water at a very low concentration. The goal is not to create a strong, foamy solution. The goal is simply to provide enough contact action to affect the caterpillars without increasing the risk of leaf injury. Before spraying an entire bed, test the mixture on a small section of one plant and wait about 24 hours. If the leaves remain healthy, you can move forward with greater confidence. This step is often skipped, yet can prevent unnecessary damage, especially during periods of hot weather. When you're ready to apply the spray, inspect each plant carefully. Look under leaves, around the central growing point, and in folds where young caterpillars tend to hide. Spray only where needed, making sure the solution reaches the worms directly. Remember, contact is what makes the treatment effective. Many experienced gardeners also combine spraying with hand removal. If you can easily see a caterpillar, removing it immediately is often faster than relying on any treatment. In fact, research on integrated pest management consistently shows that combining multiple simple control methods usually provides better results than depending on a single approach alone. Another helpful habit is checking plants every few days rather than waiting until damage becomes severe. Small infestations are much easier to manage than large ones. A few minutes of inspection can save weeks of frustration later in the season. But even when a method is applied correctly, there are certain conditions that can reduce effectiveness and increase the risk of plant stress. Understanding those situations can help you avoid the mistakes that cause many gardeners to give up on this approach too soon. One of the biggest mistakes gardeners make is spraying during the hottest part of the day, when temperatures are high and the sun is intense. Even a mild solution can increase the risk of leaf burn on sensitive plants. That's why many experienced gardeners prefer treating plants early in the morning or later in the evening, when conditions are cooler. Weather also plays a role. If rain is expected shortly after application, much of the treatment may be washed away before it has a chance to work. On the other hand, windy conditions can make it difficult to reach the areas where the caterpillars are hiding. A calm, dry period generally provides the best opportunity for a thorough inspection and targeted treatment. Another common misconception is that one application should solve the problem completely. Unfortunately, gardening rarely works that way. New eggs can hatch after treatment, and butterflies may continue visiting the garden throughout the season. That's why ongoing monitoring is just as important as the spray itself. Many successful gardeners develop a simple routine. Every few days, they check the undersides of leaves, remove any visible caterpillars, and look for fresh signs of feeding. This approach helps catch new infestations while they are still small and manageable. There's also a valuable long-term lesson here. Gardens with regular observation often experience fewer severe pest outbreaks because problems are discovered early. In many cases, prevention and early action require far less effort than trying to rescue heavily damaged plants later. The encouraging news is that when cabbage worms are caught early and managed consistently, plants can often continue growing and producing surprisingly well. The question most gardeners ask next is how quickly they should expect to see results and what signs indicate the approach is actually working. The first sign of success is usually not perfectly healthy leaves. That's an expectation that often leads to disappointment. Leaves that have already been eaten will not repair themselves. Instead, what you want to see is a noticeable slowdown in new damage. After thorough inspection and treatment, many gardeners begin seeing fewer fresh holes appear on new growth over the following days. Existing leaves may still show the scars from earlier feeding, but the plant can often continue producing healthy foliage if the infestation has been brought under control. Another encouraging sign is finding fewer caterpillars during routine inspections. If you're checking the underside of the leaves every few days and seeing less feeding activity, that's usually evidence that your efforts are working. In contrast, if new damage continues increasing at the same rate, it's worth inspecting more carefully for hidden worms, newly hatched larvae, or missed areas of plant. Plant vigor is another useful indicator. Brassica crops that are no longer under heavy feeding pressure often begin directing more energy toward leaf production, head formation, and overall growth. While recovery speed depends on weather, plant age, and the severity of the infestation, many gardeners are surprised by how resilient these crops can be once the pest pressure is reduced. It's also important to stay realistic. A severely damaged plant may never look perfect again. The goal is not cosmetic perfection. The goal is protecting enough healthy growth to produce a worthwhile harvest. That's the standard experience gardeners typically focus on. And that leads to one final lesson about cabbage worms that can save gardeners time, money, and frustration season after season. The final lesson is that cabbage worms are not a one-time problem. They are part of a repeating seasonal cycle, especially in regions where brassica crops grow for long periods of the year. That means the most reliable success doesn't come from a single spray or a single intervention. It comes from building a simple habit of observation and early action. Experienced gardeners tend to focus less on reacting and more on preventing infestations from ever getting established. That starts with checking plants regularly, especially during peak butterfly activity in warmer months. Even a short inspection every few days can interrupt the cycle before it turns into visible damage. There's also a subtle but important scientific point here. Pest populations rarely appear all at once. They build gradually. A few eggs become a few caterpillars, and those caterpillars become the heavy feeding stage that overwhelms plants. If you consistently break that cycle early, the pressure on your garden stays manageable. Some gardeners also notice that healthier, well-managed plants tend to recover faster from minor feeding. While that doesn't make them immune, strong growth supported by proper soil, steady moisture, and balanced nutrition gives plants a better chance to tolerate light pest activity without major yield loss. This is consistent with broader horticultural research on plant resilience under stress. So the real takeaway is simple. The goal is not perfection, and it's not eliminating every insect in the garden. The goal is keeping pest numbers low enough that your plants can grow without constant damage. Once that balance is achieved, cabbage worms shift from a major problem into a manageable part of gardening. If there's one thing to remember, it's this: small, consistent actions always outperform emergency treatments taken too late. And that's what separates a struggling brassica bed from a reliable harvest season after season. If there's one final thought to leave you with, it's that cabbage worms are less about luck and more about timing and attention. Most gardeners don't fail because they don't care for their plants. They fail because the damage starts quietly, long before it becomes obvious. Once you understand how these pests operate, the garden becomes much easier to manage. A few minutes of inspection every couple of days, paying close attention to the undersides of leaves, can completely change your results over season. That small habit alone is often more effective than any single product you could buy. And when treatment is needed, keeping it simple, targeted, and based on direct contact gives you a practical way to reduce pressure without overwhelming the garden ecosystem. The goal has never been to eliminate every insect. The goal is to protect your harvest and keep your plants growing strong enough to finish the season. If this helped you understand what's really happening in your cabbage and kale beds, you may want to apply the same approach to other brassica pests as well, because the principle stays surprisingly consistent across the entire family of crops. Thanks for spending this time in the garden.